This light has been running for 3 months. No solar panel, no battery pack, no outlet. Just garden soil, 2 pieces of metal, and $3. A Scottish clockmaker discovered this in 1841. Within 1 generation, it was erased from every engineering textbook. This is the story of what they buried and how to dig it back up. The archive opens, 1841. A workshop in Edinburgh. A Scottish clockmaker named Alexander Bain holds 2 metal rods in the soil behind his house. A wire connects them to a simple galvanometer. A needle moves. That was enough. What Bain discovered that day was not a new invention. It was something the Earth had been doing for 3.5 billion years. The ground beneath your feet is not just dirt. It is a living electrical system. Billions of microbes in every handful of soil, creating electron flows, generating tiny currents that have existed since long before anything walked on this planet. Bain did not invent anything. He simply learned to listen to what the ground was already doing. Here is the science, and it is beautifully simple. When you push 2 different metals into moist soil, zinc and copper, a chemical reaction begins. The zinc wants to give up electrons, the copper wants to receive them, and the soil between them, rich with moisture and dissolved minerals, becomes the bridge. This is called a galvanic cell. The same principle inside every battery you have ever owned. Except this one does not come from a factory. It comes from the Earth. The zinc slowly dissolves, atom by atom, releasing electrons that flow through a wire to the copper. That flow is electricity. Real, measurable, usable electricity. And the fuel is the ground itself. Now, Bain understood this in 1841. But what happened next is the part they left out of the history books. Alexander Bain was not a wealthy scientist. He was a clockmaker, a man who worked with his hands, who understood precision, and who had just stumbled onto something that should have changed the world. He filed a patent, and within a decade, Earth batteries were powering real infrastructure. Telegraph companies across the American frontier discovered that you could run communication lines using nothing but metal plates buried in the ground. California telegraph stations operated for months on Earth power alone. The United States government documented it. This was not fringe science. This was not a backyard experiment. Earth batteries powered critical communication infrastructure across an expanding nation. And perhaps the most remarkable proof, an Earth battery clock. Built in the 1850s, it ran continuously for over 42 years. No replacement parts, no fuel, just 2 metals and the Earth. For 50 years, this technology was documented, tested, deployed, and proven. And then, something changed. In the late 1800s, Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla were building something enormous. Centralized power grids, networks that could deliver electricity to entire cities for a price. And as those grids expanded, economic incentives shifted. According to historical records, decentralized energy technologies, technologies you could build yourself for almost nothing, gradually fell out of mainstream education. Earth batteries were not banned. They were not classified. They were simply removed from the conversation. Engineering textbooks stopped mentioning them. Universities stopped teaching them. Within 3 generations, the words Earth battery disappeared from public knowledge entirely. And so it was buried. Not in the ground, in silence. But knowledge has a way of surviving underground. Literally, for 119 years. From roughly 1900 to 2019, Earth battery technology existed in a strange twilight. Not secret, not illegal, just forgotten. But there were people who refused to let it die. In the 1920s and 30s, ham radio operators in rural America quietly used Earth batteries to power their stations when grid power was not available or not affordable. They did not advertise it. They just did it. In the 1970s, off-grid homesteaders in the Pacific Northwest rediscovered Bain's principles through old patent filings gathering dust in university libraries. They built Earth batteries to power fence chargers, lighting systems, small tools. In the 1990s, survivalist communities began sharing Earth battery designs on early internet forums. Crude diagrams, handwritten notes scanned and uploaded. Knowledge passed from stranger to stranger, across phone lines and dial-up connections. The knowledge was never lost. It was just passed from hand to hand, in the margins, by people who refused to let it die. And now, it is your turn. But soil has a memory. Now that you understand what was buried and why, let us dig it back up. Here is everything you need. 6 items, most of them you probably already have. Garden soil, rich, moist, alive with minerals. The fuel, small containers, plastic cups, clay pots, anything non-conductive, copper, wire, coins, pipe fittings. This is your cathode. Galvanized nails or zinc strips. This is your anode. Water, with a pinch of salt or a splash of vinegar. This boosts the electrolyte. And one small LED light. Your proof. Total cost, under $5, often under $3. You already know how to work with soil. You already understand seasons, moisture, patience. This is just a different kind of harvest. Step 1. Fill your container about 3/4 full with garden soil. Not bone dry, not soaking wet. Think of the moisture level you would want for planting seedlings. Damp, alive. Step 2. Add your electrolyte boost. A teaspoon of salt dissolved in water or a tablespoon of vinegar mixed into the soil. This increases the ion concentration and strengthens the current. Step 3. Push your zinc nail into the soil on one side. Push your copper wire or coin into the soil on the other side. 2 to 3 centimeters apart. This is critical. They must never touch each other directly. If they touch, the circuit shorts, and you get nothing. The zinc will slowly give up its electrons, the copper will collect them, and the soil between will carry the charge. That is one cell, one Earth battery, and on its own, it produces about 0.7 to 1 volt. Not enough to light anything yet. But here's where it gets interesting. Every connection you make is a connection that Edison did not want you to learn. Every cell you build is a vote for independence. Now, let us talk about how to multiply that power. This is where most people make the fatal mistake. And it is the reason most first attempts fail. There are 2 ways to connect multiple Earth batteries: series and parallel. Understanding the difference is everything. Series connection means you connect the copper of one cell to the zinc of the next. Positive to negative, like a chain. Each cell adds its voltage to the total. 4 cells at 0.7 volts each gives you 2.8 volts. 5 cells, 3.5. That is enough to light a standard LED. Parallel connection means you connect all the coppers together and all the zincs together. This does not increase voltage. It increases how long the battery lasts and how much current it can deliver. For your first Earth battery system, you want series. 4 to 5 cells minimum. Connected copper to zinc in a line. No soldering needed. Simple wire connections. Alligator clips work perfectly. And when you connect that last wire, you are about to see something that should never have been forgotten. Before you connect the LED, check your work with a multimeter. You want to see at least 2 volts across your series chain. If you are below that, add another cell. 4-point troubleshooting checklist. Are your metals in the right order? Zinc to copper? Zinc to copper? Is the soil moist enough? Are any metals touching each other directly? Is your LED connected with the correct polarity? Long leg to positive? Now, connect it. Real, bright, measurable light from nothing but soil and metal. This is not magic. This is not a trick. This is 185-year-old science, working exactly as it always has. So how long does it last? The answer will surprise you. A well-maintained Earth battery can run for years. The zinc slowly oxidizes, atom by atom, but at such a gradual rate that a single set of electrodes can last 3 to 5 years before needing replacement. And remember that Earth battery clock from the 1850s? It ran for 42 years, continuously. Maintenance is simple. Add water every 1 to 2 weeks to keep the soil moist. That is it. If you are in a dry climate, cover the cells with a piece of glass or plastic to reduce evaporation. Think of it like a terrarium. Cold weather? Bury your cells deeper, at least 30 centimeters below the frost line. Insulate with straw or mulch. The earth stays warmer underground. Hot weather? Move cells to a shaded area. Add a gravel layer on top for drainage. If you have drip irrigation in your garden, run a line near your Earth battery. Treat it like a plant, and it produces light for years. The Earth does not stop generating electricity in winter. It does not take vacations. It does not send you a bill. Now, let us talk about scale. 10 cells in series gives you roughly 7 volts. 20 cells, 14 volts. At that level, you are powering small electronics, charging devices, running sensors. For larger installations, you combine series and parallel. Series chains for voltage, parallel banks for duration and current. 30 by 30 centimeter metal plates buried at 30 centimeters depth, connected in arrays across your property. Silent. No moving parts, no pollution, no fuel cost, ever. But here is where it gets personal, especially if you are a gardener. Pathway lighting in your food forest, powered by the soil your trees grow in. Moisture sensors in your raised beds, running on earth current. LED grow lights for seedling starts in early spring. 0 electricity cost. Even simple motion sensors for garden security. Your garden already feeds you. Now, it can light your way home. And the beauty of Earth batteries in a garden setting? The same. Soil biology that feeds your plants, feeds your power, healthy soil, healthy current. Nature designed it that way. Not all metal combinations are equal. The electrochemical series determines how much voltage each pair produces and how long it lasts. Magnesium and copper. 1.5 volts per cell, the highest output. But magnesium corrodes fast, 6 months to a year before replacement. Aluminum and copper, 1.2 volts, lasts about a year, affordable and widely available. Zinc and copper, 0.7 to 1 volt per cell, lasts 5 years or more. This is the Goldilocks pair, the sweet spot between power and patience. Iron and copper. 0.5 volts. The cheapest option. Low output but nearly indestructible. For most people, zinc and copper is the answer. Affordable, durable, and proven for over a century. The Earth had been waiting. Not because it stopped working, because we stopped listening. In 2019, a man in rural Oregon proved what the electric industry spent a century trying to make everyone forget. He was not a scientist. He was not an engineer. He grew his own food. He fixed his own truck. And he did not trust the grid to be there when he needed it. He had read about earth batteries in an old patent archive. And he decided to try. 60 copper and zinc plates buried in his backyard soil, spaced methodically, connected in series and parallel arrays. Total material cost under $300. No permits, no contractors, no special tools, just metal, soil, wire, and knowledge that should have been common, but was not. 3 years later, every LED on his property ran on earth power. Pathways, animal pens, garden beds, the porch where he sat at night. 0 electricity bills for outdoor lighting. 0 fuel, 0 noise. And when his neighbors lost power in ice storms, his lights stayed on. Not because he had a generator, because he had knowledge. $3 of investment per cell. Projected savings of over $250 in electricity over 10 years. Now, this will not power your house. Let us be honest about that. Earth batteries produce low current, best suited for LED lighting, sensors, small electronics. But for emergency backup, rural off-grid lighting, and garden applications, there is nothing simpler, nothing cheaper, and nothing more proven. It waited. For 185 years, it waited. From Alexander Bain's workshop in Edinburgh, through the golden age of telegraph, through the silence of suppression, through the quiet hands of ham radio operators and homesteaders and people who simply refused to forget. It waited in the soil. And now, it is here, in your hands. The next time the lights go out, and they will, you will have a choice. Sit in the dark and wait for someone to fix it. Or walk into your garden, push 2 pieces of metal into the earth, and make your own light. That is not just electricity. That is independence. And they never wanted you to have it. Energy is not just electricity. It is the difference between waiting for someone to restore your power and having the knowledge to restore it yourself. That is what was buried. Not just a technology, a mindset. You are now one of the keepers. The knowledge that was passed from hand to hand, in the margins, for over a century, is now in your hands. What you do with it next is up to you. But if knowledge like this should not stay buried, you know what to do.